Okay, so we're all doing it, right? We're using AI to summarize those super long documents to make sense of those crazy email threads. It's just what we do now. But have you ever stopped to think, what if the one thing AI is amazing at, giving us the answer in a flash, is actually, kind of quietly, making it harder for us to think for ourselves, to think deeply? Well, that's what we're going to get into. We're going to explore this really powerful way of thinking about AI, not as an answer machine, but as a tool to make you a sharper thinker.
I know, that image is a little intense, right? Someone else chewing your food? But wow, it just perfectly nails the problem, doesn't it? When you just let AI do all the work, sure, you get the basic info, it's like getting the calories, but you completely miss out on the digestion. And that's where the real nutrients, the real understanding gets absorbed. You're basically skipping the mental workout that actually builds your knowledge muscles. And that really brings us to the big question here. In this mad dash to get the bullet points and the quick summary, are we just outsourcing our brains? Are we handing over all the heavy lifting, the actual thinking, to a machine? It's the classic double-edged sword. We have this ridiculously smart assistant at our fingertips, ready to go. But if we let it do too much, it stops being a tool and it starts being a replacement for our own minds. And that choice, between using it as a partner or a replacement, is one we have to make, right now.
So let's dive into that. This idea of outsourcing your brain. This is really the central paradox we're facing with this technology. The thing that makes AI so incredible, its power to just summarize and simplify everything instantly, might actually be the single biggest hidden threat to our ability to think deeply for ourselves. Kind of wild, right?
No, seriously, think about it for a second. When do you really understand something? It's not when someone hands you a nice, neat little summary. True understanding, that's forged in the struggle. It's forged in that messy, sometimes super frustrating process of wrestling with a difficult idea all by yourself. That fight, that friction, that's what actually builds the pathways in your brain to get it.
So, okay, how do we get out of this trap? It's all about a shift in mindset, a totally new mental model. We've got to stop thinking of AI as this all-knowing oracle that just gives us answers. Instead, we need to start treating it like a sparring partner.
And this really breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you've got the AI as oracle. It just feeds you answers. You sit back, you consume, you're passive. But then look at the other side, AI as a sparring partner. This is totally different. It's there to test your thinking, to probe for weak spots, to make you stronger. A good sparring partner doesn't get in the ring and fight for you. They get you ready for the fight. See the difference? It's a complete shift from just consuming information to actively engaging with it.
Okay, but if you're gonna spar, you need to know your partner's signature move, right? And AI has a doozy. It is an absolute master at exploiting a little glitch in our brains called fluency bias. Basically, when something sounds really smooth, really confident, and is presented clearly, our brains just automatically think, yep, that must be true, even when it's totally, completely wrong.
And that's what makes this so dangerous. These AI models are basically built to create what you could call a seductive trap. They can give you this beautifully articulate, super confident interpretation, even when they are just making stuff up out of thin air. And that clarity, it's so alluring, it literally lulls your critical thinking to sleep. You end up just accepting things that are flat out wrong, all because they were packaged so nicely.
So, how do we actually step into the ring and have a productive match? Well, it all comes down to a few really important rules of engagement. These are the rules that make sure you're the one in control.
All right, rule number 1. This one's a non-negotiable, a hard line in the sand. The first 2 steps of any deep study, when you're just observing and trying to form your first impressions, have to be a no AI zone, period. You have to go in there alone first. The whole point is to hear what the text is saying to you before you hear what anyone, or anything else has to say about it.
And why is this so critical? Well, it's because of another one of those brain glitches called the framing effect. Think about it. If this super confident sounding AI gets the first word, it instantly sets the frame for the whole conversation. It tells your brain what's important, what to look for. And once that frame is set, it becomes incredibly difficult to have a truly original thought or to spot something the AI might have completely missed. Okay, get ready for what is probably the most counterintuitive rule of them all, but it might just be the most important. You ready? Never, ever ask the AI to summarize something for you. Yeah, I know. That's like the #1 thing people use it for. But here's the deal. Asking for a summary is literally outsourcing the most important part of the learning process. Creating that summary yourself, that's your job. That's where the magic happens.
And this is the key insight, right here. We tend to think of summarizing as something you do after you understand a text. But that's backwards. The act of summarizing, of wrestling with the ideas, figuring out what's important, and putting it all into your own words, that is the thing that creates understanding. It's not a byproduct, it's the engine. And if you outsource that engine, well, your own mental muscles just start to fade away.
Okay, next up, the verification rule. This one is huge. You have to treat every single claim the AI makes, every interpretation, every connection it draws, every little fact as nothing more than a hypothesis. It's not truth, it's just a suggestion. And now, the ball is in your court. It's your job to go back to the original text and try to prove it or disprove it.
So instead of asking for answers, you use prompts that keep you firmly in the driver's seat. You do the work first, then you go to the AI. You say things like, okay, here's my take on this, what do you think I'm missing? Or, does this interpretation hold up against the text? See what you're doing? You're forcing the AI to react to your thoughts, not the other way around. Now that's how you use a sparring partner.
All right, so putting all this into practice really depends on your own habits. So let's do a quick little self-assessment here, so you can figure out what your current fighting style is.
You can think of this as a kind of ladder for AI users. A lot of us, maybe most of us, start out at the bottom as passive users. We just take whatever the AI gives us, no questions asked. But the goal is to start climbing. You move up to an assisted learner, then an active interpreter, until you finally reach the top as a skilled sparrer, someone who can have a real deep back and forth with the AI to make their own thinking razor sharp.
And here's a super simple way to figure out where you are on that ladder. Just ask yourself these 4 questions, and be honest. Do you read the text before using AI? Do you think for yourself first? Do you actually question what the AI tells you? And do you go back to the text to check its work? If you're answering no a lot, you're probably stuck in that passive mode. But every yes is a step up that ladder toward being an active, engaged thinker who's really running the show.
Because here's the bottom line, and it's so important. AI isn't some magic fix for bad habits. It's an amplifier. It's like a cognitive magnifying glass. If you're a bit of a lazy or careless reader, AI is going to make you way lazier. But if you're a careful, rigorous thinker, whoa, it will launch your insights into the stratosphere. It just takes whatever habits you already have and puts them on steroids.
Okay, so you've had the sparring match. What happens next? This is where we have to step beyond the digital ring. Because remember, the goal isn't just to get a better answer out of the machine. The real prize is a deeper, more permanent understanding inside your own head.
And this right here, this is the master workflow. This puts it all together. Step 1, you read alone. No AI. Step 2, you interpret first. Form your own ideas. Then, and only then, you move to step 3, spar with the AI. Step 4, and this is critical, you verify everything by going back to the text. That's your ultimate source of truth. And finally, step 5, you step away from the computer entirely, you reflect, you apply it. That's how you make the knowledge truly yours.
Let's just be absolutely crystal clear on this. The point of all this isn't to become some kind of master prompt engineer. It's not about getting a slightly better or faster answer from ChatGPT. The entire goal, the only goal that matters, is your own mental growth. It's about you achieving a clearer, deeper, and more personal understanding of whatever it is you're studying.
This chart just lays out the choice perfectly. Look, treating the AI like an oracle, that's the easy route. It feels fast, it feels efficient. But as you can see, it builds almost no lasting skill. The sparring partner approach? Yeah, it's harder. It takes more work, there's more friction. But that struggle, that's exactly what builds the real, durable mental muscle that you can use on anything.
But this whole idea leaves us with one last kind of tough question to chew on. Forever, we've figured out hard things together, right? In classrooms and study groups, talking with friends and mentors. So what happens if AI becomes the perfect sparring partner? One that's always available, never gets tired, and knows all your weak spots. Does that convenience come at a cost? Does it make us forget that we still need each other? That we need the messy, unpredictable, and wonderful process of thinking together with other people?